Good morning. I'd like to just circle back to something that another colleague raised, and that is you've advised people to shelter in place right now. Would you advise them, or would you tell them to head to Pakistan? Are you telling them, or do you have any advice for people on the best way to get out? Otherwise, it sounds a bit like the scenario earlier, whereas you're willing to help them in other countries, but it's up to them to get to those countries. Are you giving them any advice about other means to get out or routes to take?
So I can have a stab at that. At the moment, we are, because we're in a period of final transition from phase one, we're asking people to stay in place at the moment to see how things evolve in the coming days. Some people may make the decision that they will seek to get to a third country. Many of the people on the ground there are best placed to make the decision about what their lowest risk safe route is, but we will be ready in all of the countries that they may possibly come to receive them at our consulates and embassies. So this is something that will occur in the coming weeks and months. But at the moment, we're asking people to stay put, because there's a lot of things that are going on at the moment, and we're going to keep in constant contact with them.
Thanks, Steve. I'll just add to that very briefly. It's an important question. I want to emphasize that we remain in constant contact with those Afghans who have applied and are eligible under our special immigration measures and other programs. We email and provide the best possible guidance that we can with regards to where to go, when to go. Security is a paramount concern. You saw how much is at stake yesterday, and the situation on the ground can change on a dime, and it can be deadly. And so we are working around the clock to make sure that we keep lines of communication open with those that we are trying to get out. And yes, we're going to continue to exhaust every option, whether it's by getting them out on coalition flights, whether it's by working with other regional partners to establish air bridges beyond the August 31st timeline within which the coalition will withdraw. And by, yes, looking at other ways to get them to third countries where we are already in action, mobilizing our own international footprint, but working with the UNHCR, the IOM, to receive those Afghans under our humanitarian resettlement program. And this is where we are showing leadership, Steve. We were the first country in the world to set up a program of this kind. And it's already in action. And as I've said, it is already showing results. We know there is a lot more work to do, but it's encouraging to see Canadians take up the cause to welcome Afghans as they arrive in Canada.
I have a follow-up question, but I would like to point out something before I ask my follow-up question. I haven't heard you give any numbers on how many Canadian citizens are left behind there, or how many permanent residents, or how many people with approved exit documents. And I would expect that would form part of a briefing. So I don't want to use my question on that, but I'm pointing that out. The question is about Pakistan. Pakistan's High Commissioner to Canada yesterday said that his government is willing to help Canada in any way it can to get people out. I'm wondering, I'd like you to address whether Pakistan could play a role in this. He mentioned the idea of a humanitarian corridor, but again, I'm hoping you can give us numbers as well on what's left.
So, as I said in a previous answer, at the moment, we don't have those exact numbers because, as you know, when citizens go to another country, we encourage them to register with what's known as the Register of Canadians Abroad through Global Affairs or at the embassy. Not everybody does that, and hopefully those that are there who haven't done so will do so in the coming days online, obviously. And at the same time, there are some people who may have come into the country but have managed to get out on Allied flights, or who may have a little bit earlier on moved to another country. So we don't have the exact numbers at the moment, and that's what we're trying to nail down in the coming days. And we're encouraging people who may not have registered to let us know that they're there, because as soon as we have their coordinates, we will be in constant communication with them. And of course, Pakistan made that statement. That's very encouraging. And of course, we have consulates in Lahore, in Islamabad, and in Karachi, and we'll be waiting there for them. And we're hoping that those who do decide to go through Afghanistan, that they will be able to successfully cross and to come to our missions in that country.
Thanks, Steve.